There exists a threat, from anti-hunting groups to politicians trying to give our land away, and we won't stand for it. Those vast western landscapes provide the space for our wildlife to thrive and a place for hunters and anglers to fuel the fire that sparks their soul. In this show, we share our love of hunting, fishing, and conservation. Here, we provide the foundation to meet these threats through passion and the grit of the American outdoorsman. Welcome to the Western Huntsman Podcast. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of the Western Huntsman Podcast, brought to you by Eastman's Hunting Journals. This is Jim Huntsman, your host, coming at you from the Broken Town studio right here in Clark Fork, Idaho, and I am bringing on an old friend, a past guest, and somebody that I think is a really important person to talk to right now, given the circumstances. Brian Lynn with Sportsmen's Alliance. How you doing, brother? Not too bad. Say that again. I had you turned down. You can hear me now?
Yep. I hear you great.
God, man, one day I'm going to be a professional podcaster, and that kind of stuff isn't going to happen ever again.
No, don't do that. Don't go down that road.
I always turn the guests down when I'm playing the intro music in case they, cough or yell at the kids or something. And
I literally did cough. I did cough, but I held the phone away. So
my bad. Anyway, well, shoot, man, I appreciate you joining me on such short notice. I know, we were talking about interrupting your Zags game tonight, and I don't want to. I don't want to be responsible for that. So, what did I hit you up like an hour ago, and here we are.
Here we are. Let's do it, man.
Sweet. Well, this is going to be like a bonus episode that I'm going to release. Today is Tuesday. I'm going to have this out probably tomorrow or Thursday morning at the latest.
Awesome.
Because there's lots going on, and anybody that's been following along with this show knows that I have had a thorn in my side over the way that Washington State has been operating their Fish and Wildlife Service, and specifically a couple of commission members that are not in alignment with sportsman values. And Sportsmen's Alliance this week, they basically announced a lawsuit against Commissioner Lorna Smith. Am I saying that right, or is it against the state, or is it what? Actually, just walk us through what this lawsuit is, man.
Yeah. No, it's against Lorna. We filed against her specifically for violating the RCW. There's an RCW that says any game commissioner cannot hold another elected or appointed office or commission. Mm-hmm. And she's on the Jefferson County Planning Commission. I was appointed by the commissioner, so she's on the planning board. And so we're like, that's a pretty clear-cut violation. And so we are suing her over that.
So, guys, in the way like the announcement reads, Washington law is clear on this question. RCW 77.04.040 states that members of the WFCW shall not hold another state, county, or municipal elective or appointive office. And obviously, Lorna Smith has served. It's on, with this Jefferson County Planning Commission. The entire time she's been a non-confirmed commissioner to the WFCW. Or I said that wrong. WFWC. That's a mouthful, man.
Yeah, Washington Fish and Wildlife Commission. I just call it the Game Commission.
Yeah, the Game Commission.
So yeah,
I always call it's funny when you do a podcast and you're talking to all sorts of people in different states. There's like different names for all of them. So I just always call it Fish and Wildlife.
Different names, different processes, different laws, different standards, and it's a lot to keep track of. But our government affairs team does a good job chasing it all down and who's where and what. So
Brian, walk us through how this works. What does this mean that you guys have filed a lawsuit?
Yeah, so we're filing a lawsuit asking for a judgment from a judge to say, hey, she needs to get kicked off the board. She's been violating the law. and it'll be up to them as to, the judge's discretion and his or her ruling if they boot her off of there or not. So that's what we're hoping for, and we believe needs to take place because of this violation.
Well, I couldn't agree more because, within the article where you guys announced that this lawsuit has taken place, there's a line in here. She is among a group of new commissioners pushing an extremist view of fish and wildlife management and is adamantly opposed to the North American model of wildlife conservation. We all know she's been the subject of, our friends in Washington losing the spring bear hunt, which, in itself might not seem like a big deal to a lot of people because of the nature of the Washington spring bear hunt in the past. It's been like a special draw, what was it, like 220 tags maybe?
It's around 600 or something, but the success rate, it comes down to about 150 bears are killed in three very specific units, for very specific reasons. Crop damage, depredation to elk, and timber damage over on the west side. So it's a very controlled, very, very specific hunt. And like you said, for a lot of people, it's like, oh, slide under the radar. Yeah, so that's a camel under the tents, the camel's nose under the tent. If their logic is taking 150 bears off the landscape is going to tip it into a threatened species that we have to be very careful, well, then what's to stop them from, you can just reverse the logic. Like if they're really concerned about the bear season enough to stop 150 bear take, what are they going to do about the fall bear season?
Well, and the thing that I always look at when it's something like this, I mean, we all most hunting podcasts that have talked about this issue have brought up the fact that obviously this is kind of that death by 1,000 cuts concept, right?
Yep.
And there's that side of it, and we can all say, well, it's insignificant. It was only 600 tags or whatever. It's just a spread. They still have their fall bear, but the other side to that, I mean, you're talking about a state. What does Washington have? Like 25,000-30,000 bears in the state?
Exactly. Yep, 25 to 30,000.
And so if it's not a big deal, why is it a big deal to take it away? Because we all know that there are outfitters that make a living on this spring bear season. There's families that have had a tradition dating back decades going on this spring bear hunt. Let's face it, it's a value for hunters that whether you're looking at it from filling up your freezer to having the adventure, the primal connection to nature, it doesn't matter what it is. It's a value for us. And because this, specifically this particular commissioner, has a different value set and sees things a lot differently in terms of what wildlife management is, she feels the, proclivity to remove this season. And we are the ones that suffer. And the problem with letting this go is going back to the premise of death by 1,000 cuts. And that is just a starting point. What say you?
Absolutely right. That's definitely right. And, Lorna is just one of several. It's, at least 5 of them on the board that are pushing this angle. The science isn't good enough. This isn't best available, whatever. They muddy the waters and like to throw out this term, precautionary principle. Mm-hmm. Like, well, we better be very extra careful here because bears are slow to reproduce. When the scientist is out there saying, no, we have 25 to 30,000 bears. We're not worried about it. It's 150. We take many more during the fall season. So if they can use this logic in the spring, they can use it in the fall and anywhere else. If you watch some of the game commission meetings, they talk about, well, it's springtime, they're, in the part of the process of mating and everything. And that doesn't seem right, as a rearing stuff. And it's like, wait a minute. If you're going to use that logic, and a retiring commissioner, Don McIsaac, pointed it out and said, well, if you're using that logic for spring bears, you can use that for elk and deer and anything else you want to, because we hunt them during mating seasons and everything else. So he's like, this is arbitrary to be putting this now on spring bear hunting. But Lorna comes from a protectionist group. She was executive director of a protectionist group. Then her husband was a biologist. Now he's the executive director. She stepped down from that to take this position. So that's her whole mindset and her whole bent. And she has allies on there. Melanie Rowland is another one, Barbara Baker. So they're doing everything they can to push this. I mean, just in the last commission game meeting, they have to come up with the management plan, and she's putting forward to put coyotes into the game management plan and start regulating that. In past commission meetings, she's brought up snow goose hunters, scaring off the snow geese for the bird watchers in the wildlife refuge, which waterfowl hunters have paid for. They pretty much funded the whole refuge system. And so she's bringing up everything. I mean, here we are in one of the largest avian flu outbreaks in history. And she's talking about protecting snow geese, which are overpopulated, destroying the tundra, but she wants, because bird watchers, which I will give the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife credit. They said, right, we don't want this conflict. And they created a hunters only area. So they did a great job. I'll give the department credit there.
That's not a terrible strategy. It's not a terrible strategy. What is going on with the whole thing about these commissioners in Washington not being confirmed by the Senate?
Yeah. So this is part of the problem, is we have a whole commission here who's appointed by the governor. And as soon as they're appointed, they have authority and power to run with, whether they're confirmed or not. And there isn't a single commissioner who's been confirmed by the Senate. This is just using law and loopholes to run a cabal. We're supposed to be transparent.
Like tyrannical.
Yeah, we're supposed to be able to have a say. That's why the Senate confirms them. So the people that we elect, who are looking out for our interests and supposed to represent us, can weigh in on these people like, no, they're not good or they are good. So they bring them up. They bring up 2, 3, 4 every year for committee hearings, but they don't bring forward controversial ones. But they never move them to a floor vote. So this week, there's 3 of them that have a hearing this week, but it's already late in the session. The fact that they're going to probably won't get confirmed by the full Senate because it's so late. So they just do this every year, rinse and repeat. None of them are confirmed, yet they're making major policy decisions on wildlife management with no oversight, no transparency, and we as the citizens, the voters, have no recourse.
Yeah. I mean, this is coming from the same side of the aisle that is constantly screaming about how, everybody else is destroying our democracy. Where's the democracy in this? There's got to be, I don't know if there is a mandate or some kind of regulation that has a deadline as to when these commissioners, so to speak, have to be confirmed in order to be valid. Nope. There's not.
There is not.
It's just a run amok. The governor can go ahead and appoint whoever he wants to include some of these animal activists that we're seeing, and there's no repercussion.
No, not at all. So there is no deadline. A couple last session, a couple of bills were put forward to limit. They have to be confirmed within 60 days, or something else. There was like 2 or 3 bills, and they went nowhere. There was a coalition of us working on another bill this session, to kind of put some of those things in place. And, basically we've been told that it's not going to go anywhere. And even if it were, Inslee won't sign anything that takes his power away.
That's nuts, man. It's nuts. I mean, where do you see this lawsuit going? You've got a lot of experience with this stuff. Where do you see this going?
Well, we'll see. I mean, the ball's in her court and in the judge's court. So, hopefully we'll have our day in court and show that she is, in a conflicted spot and breaking the law. She is literally breaking the law and has been for well over a year now, since she's been appointed, But to be clear, this is just the first step. Mm-hmm. This is just step one. There's a lot more issues going on in this state, and we've been sitting here watching for 2 years. There's lack of adequate notice for major policy changes, ex parte communication during meetings. we're supposed to, there's laws and rules around this. Like, you have a meeting, you have to give public notice on exactly what that is. That's not happening. They're changing it and they're making policy without giving notice, taking comment from people privately, during during a closed meeting that we're, the rest of us don't get to weigh in on this, and there are commissioners who are not supporting various mandates during decision making. So we're going to look into those for lawsuits using public access records requests. Let's see what's going on.
Again, this all coming from the same side of the aisle that is kicking and screaming about ruining our democracy. So it's just interesting the
hypocrisy is astounding.
Yeah, the hypocrisy that comes out of this stuff, and I'm trying not to make this political, but it's just I don't understand how it is not so blatantly obvious to people, and these phones aren't just blowing up over there. Let me ask you this, Brian. What is the membership number status of Sportsmen's Alliance, roughly?
Oh, geez, I'll be honest, I don't even know that because I'm not in the membership department. But, we always need more, especially for things like this. And, just in the last couple of days, we've seen a bump in Washington membership, which is great, but these things do cost money. Like, you're talking litigation, and this is going to go on for months, and FOIA requests and paying lawyers and court costs and stuff. So I'd like to see our membership huge.
Yeah, and that's kind
just
of
so we can do more.
That's what I'm kind of driving at we've been railing against this stuff on my show for a while. Specifically, we've been doing a series. And the series is called "Is Hunting Conservation?" with Chris Rowe and Guy Duplanche, and it's really ticked some people off, and it's also got a lot of other people thinking, and it's also we're speaking to a lot of people that have been kind of feeling this way, and the idea is to get people thinking about this stuff from the side, like the one I just released. In fact, today is out. The reason I asked about membership is, if you look at like Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, there's 32,000 members, or BHA 40,000 members. SCI only has 50,000 members. You know what Center for Biological Diversity has? 1.7 million members. And so I'm on the membership page here for sportsmansalliance.org, which, guys, that'll be in the show notes. What does a $35 membership mean to you guys? How does it help move the needle when it comes to things like this spring bear hunt in Washington and the lawsuit was Lorna Smith?
Yeah, so I mean, that's money in the coffers. Now, like, we give you a hat, and then there's the magazine and or knife set or whatever the little the incentive is. So there's a cost there, but we get people in the hopper. We get to talk to you more. We get the big thing is we have a big annual raffle, our mega raffle, $500,000 worth of prizes last year. I'm talking 10 trips to Argentina, 4 or 5 African safaris, fishing trips to Patagonia, firearms like crazy, side-by-sides, $40,000 cash prize. And that's where we make a lot of this money that helps fund us and fund these things. But $35, $50, $100 membership and renewing and staying active with us allows us to budget and put money and go, okay, we're going to have this many members. We project to have this many members at this price. And okay, here's our budgets that we can work with and, what we can afford to do.
Okay, let's see. Walk me through this. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm a little bit embarrassed, Brian. I did not renew in 2022.
Oh.
And here we are in 2023. So to make up for it, I'm going to do the $100 membership.
Well, thank you very much.
I'm going to sign it up right now. Let's see, because I just want to kind of highlight how easy this stuff is. It's going to have me fill out my personal information, which, by the way, that $100 one, I get a knife set, huh?
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool. Little knife set. It's pretty nice, actually.
Yeah, it looks pretty nice.
And the tumbler.
I'm pretty excited about that. I need knives, man. But I honestly, I would do something like this without the gifts, just because I know when I see an organization doing something like this, something that's going to actually move the needle, that's actually taking action. Because let's be honest, there are times when hunters feel like we buy these memberships and not a lot's going on, not a lot, not a lot's taking place. And so you guys, just this lawsuit is what we've been asking for. And so it's I need my credit card here. Hang on. I'm trying to talk and type at the same. I told you I'm not very good at that part.
Well, yeah, no, but I get it, and it's a lot of times you sign up for a membership, you don't see anything. And that's one of the challenges we face. Like, how do we tell somebody who's a member in Arkansas, that's a friendly state, to keep paying dues while we fight in Washington?
Yeah.
Across the country. Sometimes it's hard for people to wrap their heads around. But when it comes to this stuff, the animal rights stuff, it's just a matter of time. They will come to the friendly states. I mean, just last year, if you followed it at all, Texans for mountain lions came into Texas, and they're trying the same exact tack that they used with spring bear hunting. So spring bear hunting and they used it in Jersey also. In Washington and Jersey, they use the same idea. Like, you don't know exactly how many bears there are. And since you don't know exactly how many bears there are, we need to stop hunting until we have better science and data. They're saying the same thing with mountain lions. They asked Texas Park and Wildlife to put a moratorium on all trapping and hunting of mountain lions in the state until they could figure this out, which is going to take years. By then, they're digging in and getting bills passed and doing, their own thing. They will come to your state, Texas, for God's sake.
And I believe Texas is, and I could be wrong on this, but I went through the list not very long ago. Texas is a state that has the constitutional right to hunt and fish. I believe. I could be wrong. I know Idaho is, because I live in Idaho, and that does not necessarily mean. Because if they take away 90% of the hunting and you still have 10% of hunting, you still have hunting, and that's still satisfying that constitutional right?
Exactly. So that's where it gets a little, everybody thinks it's the silver bullet, which it's good. You can put it out there as a legal argument or a legal hurdle that they have to overcome. But it's not exactly as you said. It's not, the silver bullet at all, because they can say, well, we're just taking this hunting. We're not taking, it's exactly what they said with the spring bear hunt here in Washington. We're just taking spring bear hunting. You have plenty of opportunities to hunt bears in the fall. So exactly like you said.
This is interesting. I'm signing up here on your website, and it's requiring me to put a title in. And so I can choose Admiral, Brigadier General, Captain. I'm just trying to figure out which one I want to go with here. Like,
wow. I'll have to talk to the membership team about that. Like, hey, what is this, guys?
Professor? I mean, in this day and age, I could just pick out a title, right? I mean,
I will. What do you identify as today?
I think I want to be a Brigadier General. I think that'd be cool.
That's interesting.
I'll just put Mister. Okay, join now. Verify crosswalks. Okay, I'm not a robot. Hold on, we're just going through it. There we go.
And you can make that a recurring gift.
Yeah.
So your membership automatically renews, and you won't forget next year. We don't have to do this next year.
Yep. I just hit that tab. I just hit the tab to renew every year. So I'll be looking for my hat, though, Brian.
You'll be getting the hat, the knives, and the new magazine that we revamped last year. That's pretty good. It's a fun magazine to be putting out. So
heck yeah, I love hats and magazines. So guys, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that in the show notes. I seriously, I really encourage you to go. It's $35 for a sustaining membership. Sportsmen's Alliance is actually putting their money where their mouth is and taking action. This is exactly what we've been looking for the last couple of years. And we've been talking about the spring bear issue and the commission issues in the state of Washington for, since like COVID hit, basically, from what I remember. Yeah. And so this is not a new thing, and it's not a new conversation. It's a conversation we've been having for a long time, and finally we've got an organization that's not that you guys just started doing good things. I don't want to imply that. You guys always have. I've been a member for a long time. But this is super important. And so what I want to do as well, I just got the $100 membership. I am going to make March the Sportsmen's Alliance, basically, I don't know, sponsor, whatever, for the month of March. What that means, guys, if you go on my website, which is the westernhuntsmanpodcast.com, and I'll put that in the show notes as well, we have a gear shop. And it's really not gear. It's like bumper stickers, coffee mugs. There's this super expensive dog bed that they don't let me do any cheaper, but whatever. Beach towels, there's if you drink wine, chilled wine tumbler. My wife uses those when we go to the lake. All sorts of stuff like that. I even have a bumper. I don't know if you know this, Brian. I have a bumper sticker that says "Demand Lorna Smith resign." So that one's on there. If anybody jumps on the website for the rest of the month, for the rest March of 2023, it's not like 10% of proceeds are going to go. It's going to be 100% of profit off of this. What that means, guys, is if you buy a T-shirt and it costs me $10 to have it made, which that's roughly what it is, and you buy it for $20, that's $10 going to Sportsmen's Alliance.
Awesome.
Just so I'm covering the cost, but it's 100% of profit from sales off the Western Huntsman podcast website that will go to Sportsmen's Alliance. And I do need to clarify, there are 2 active websites. The other one's not supposed to be active right now, but it still is. I just checked. There's the westernhuntsman.com, which that store does not work very well, guys. So go to the westernhuntsmanpodcast.com. If you're following me on Instagram, it's in the link in the bio, and again, it'll be in the show notes here. Go to the website. Any of those swag items you buy, I'm going to take 100% of the profits and donate them to Sportsmen's Alliance so they keep, moving the needle like we need them to. So what do you think of that, Brian?
Awesome. Appreciate it. And I think that Lorna Smith sticker will be very popular.
Yeah. I need to put it out. I don't know that I've even advertised that anywhere, but I should put that out there. But yeah, it says, and I made that one $1 cheaper. So it's awesome. $9 for that one. And yeah, it says demand Lorna Smith resign.
I'm not seeing it. Where is it?
Which website are you on? Are you on the westernhuntsman.com or the westernhuntsmanpodcast.com?
Westernhuntsman.com. So westernhuntsmanpodcast.com?
Yeah, I'm gonna text it to you because it's brand new, man. That other website isn't working very well, and like the store thing doesn't work very well. And so I had to redo the website, and it's still directing people to this other one.
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure it out. Did you find it?
Yeah, I found her.
Okay.
Okay. Gear shop. Oh, yeah. I like this. This is good. We'll put this at Demand Lorna Smith resign. Okay. I think that one will be popular.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And anything else I could do, if you guys have updates or anything else I could do to help facilitate. I know I promised you, 30 minutes or less on this podcast here because it was so short notice.
No worries. That's what I'm here for. But thank you for having us on and shining a light on this. And this is, like I said, this is just the first step. We're going to be doing some FOIA requests and seeing what they're talking about. And there will be some other lawsuits coming here in the coming months and weeks. So
fantastic.
Stay tuned.
You know what I like about lawsuits? It's using the animal activists' game against them. And so I really appreciate the fact that you guys, are stepping up and actually doing this. And I am behind Sportsmen's Alliance and you and 100%. So anything we could do to help move the needle for you guys, we're here for you for sure. So, all right, guys. Check it out. So that's going to be an ask. Keep in mind, instead of maybe buying a new $500 set of binos or something, buy a $400 set and spend $35 on a membership and go buy some swag on the westernhuntsmanpodcast.com, and let's help Sportsmen's Alliance kick Lorna Smith's ass off of that Washington Commission. I think there's a lot of people that would appreciate that.
Love it. Thank you very much.
All right, Brian, stick on the line for just a sec, and we'll keep in touch, brother.
Thank you.
You made it. That's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please make sure you're following us on Instagram at The Western Huntsman and write us a good review at Apple Podcasts. Thanks, guys. See you next time. Stay Western, and I'll see you